and this is What's in My Case. Today, I'm going to take you through what's in my case, my instrument setup, and some of the gear that I use as a viola player. I've always had a fascination with string instruments and bows and the artistry that goes into making them. And although every string player wants to own an old Italian instrument, they can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I made a decision many years ago that I would rather play on a great modern instrument. And my viola is made by Guy Rebu in 2001. Guy is a New York area maker, one of the best in the world, and this instrument is a copy of viola that is played by our principal violist Cynthia Phelps, a Gasparo da Salo viola made in the late 1500s that is very large, over 17 inches, and when Guy copied it, he made this version, which is 16 and a half, which is still sizable but easier to play on, and I love it very much, and I'm very, very happy with it. I also own a Chinese-made instrument that is less expensive, and I use that for outdoor concerts when we play in the parks. Sometimes you get stuck in the rain, and I don't want any damage to happen to my beloved instrument here. I use Zyx strings made by the D'Addario company on Long Island. I love the warmth and quality of these strings, and one advantage also is that they're a lot less expensive than some of the other strings like Evaprazzi that are manufactured in Europe. I've tried many other types of strings, and I always end up coming back to the Zyx. I just love the warmth and quality of them. I use medium tension strings on the D and the G, and on the C string I like to use a heavy tension. It gives a little bit more oomph to the C string, and violists always are looking for more oomph on their C strings. I also use a steel A string made by Jaeger, and I like the heavier tension A string. I find that the medium tension string is a little bit whiny, and the heavier tension gives more warmth and more power, and I prefer that combination. Just like I made a decision to play on a great modern viola, I decided that I wanted to own bows made by one of the great living makers today, and both of my bows are made by Stéphane Tomaschot, who lives in a small village in the south of France, and I alternate between the two of them. They each have a little bit different qualities, and sometimes I'm more in the mood for one than the other, but I get a great deal of pleasure between alternating between my two bows. Rosin, I'm pretty indiscriminate with whatever rosin I use. I just grab whatever I have available. My rehairs, though, I am very particular about who does that. I go to Young Chin in New York, who incidentally is one of Stéphane Tomaschot's best friends, so he's always happy to see his bows in his shop. And I try to get them rehaired every 6 months or so, but I have to admit sometimes I go for a year because I'm alternating, between the two bows. But after a year, the hair is pretty done. I have no idea where my case was made. It doesn't have a name in it, but actually it belonged to a friend of mine who bought a new case, and she said that she hated this case and was going to throw it out. Did I want it? And I said, yeah. The problem with the case is that it's so heavy that you could really hurt yourself carrying this thing around. But it's got great storage space inside. So I usually keep this case in my locker at David Geffen Hall, and if I have to carry an instrument and a case around, I have a shaped case made by Geiwa that is a lot lighter and is much easier to carry around. I have so many accessories in my case that I can't live without, but I'll show you a few of them. Of course, there's my shoulder rest, which is a Viva la Musica shoulder rest. It's very, very light, adds almost no weight to the instrument. Very, very important thing, I think, is just to have a rag. Every time I'm done playing, I wipe off the rosin dust from my instrument and my bow. I'm very particular about keeping my instruments clean. Another thing that I find that I need a lot is nail clippers. I like having my nails really short when I play, and it's good to have these handy. This is actually an antique pair that my parents used on me when I was a baby, so that would make it at least 60 years old. Also a tool to tighten a chin rest. I find sometimes that the chin rest gets loose, and so this has a tool in there for tightening the chin rest when that gets loose. Very important, earplugs. In the orchestra it can get very, very loud, so this saves my hearing. And also have a Band-Aid, you never know. And humidification devices here. They have little sponges inside. I prefer those to the dampits that go inside the instrument, which I think can cause water damage sometimes if you're not too careful. For students on a budget, there are a lot of great options out there. There are some excellent instruments that are manufactured in China. One of the companies is the Snow Violin Company, but there are many others. And for bows, I have about 5 bows that I bought on eBay for about $30, including shipping. It takes about a month to arrive, and they're really excellent. They do everything that I need them to do, and I use them for outdoor concerts. And considering that a rehair in New York costs about $100, if you get a bow for $30 on eBay and the hair wears out, you just throw it out and move on to the next. When I was a student at Juilliard many years ago, I spent over 2 hours a day commuting to school, and I found it very helpful to do silent practicing on the subway. And one of the best tools for that is a pencil. And I would do many, many hours of bowing exercises on a pencil, maintaining flexibility in the fingers. And the great thing about a pencil is if you drop it, you can't break it. And I also did a lot of fingering exercises on my forearm. I would look at the music and practice doing that, and people gave me lots of funny looks, but it wasn't any stranger than what other people were doing on the subways back in the 1970s. I'm Ken Mirkin of the New York Philharmonic, and this was What's in My Case.